Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you tonight for this next album review for Logic's Ultra 85 that I wanted to check out for myself to see what I was going to think of this record because I know it came out on August 9th. I just didn't get a chance to review it until now, so I'm going to discuss what I listened to for this 20-track record, which is 77 minutes of an album, and let you know my thoughts on Logic's new record, Ultra 85. So let's dive into this album review. Paul Rodriguez is the opening track, the first song on the record, and it is 9 minutes and 6 seconds, so it is pretty lengthy of a track, but a great start to the record. In my opinion, Logic's bars and his rapping style in this is pretty dope, and it sounds really good from what I've listened to. So this is a strong track, 5 out of 5, and the outro to it was pretty interesting with the thematics, space pilots kind of talking to each other, Kai and this other. This album is very theme related in a way, talking about space, venturing space, and then just basically doing a reconnaissance mission or whatever, and then they go back down to Earth at the end of the album. So you'll see as I progress through each, you'll hear as I progress through each song that I talk about on what I'm going to explain about. So that's what basically the premise of the album is pertaining to be about. But 5 out of 5 for Paul Rodriguez. Mission Control, featuring T-Man the Wizard, was actually a pretty dope track too. For 2 minutes and 11 seconds, I was very entertained. It's shorter than expected, but effective. So, 5 out of 5. Deja Vu, featuring DJ Drama, was a pretty dope track too. I really enjoyed this one. Another 5 out of 5 for sure. Glorious Ultra Panavision has this guy Kai and the captain talking, and basically with what I've seen, what I listened to, I meant to say, with this song or whatever, the skit basically, they're basically panicking over, oh, are we going to see certain life forms out there or whatever, so the Kai was kind of freaking out in the skit or whatever, so that's what it's talking about. But overall, they, I think, run into this new AI program called Adam in this record overall, so basically I'd give this a 5 out of 5. Fear is a pretty dope track too. I really like this one. Logic's rapping in it is pretty good, and execution-wise, this track performed pretty alright. So another 5 out of 5. Favela is a pretty dope song too. I really enjoyed this one. Logic's rapping in this one as well is pretty strong, and his bars and all that are spitting pretty well. So I'm really digging the freestyle rapping that he's doing with this track and the fast rapping that's executing very well. So 5 out of 5. Gardens 3 is another strong track that I personally enjoyed. So a 5 out of 5. Ghost in the Machine, featuring Robert Ivory and Ade, was another strong track too. Really enjoyed this one, and I'd give this a 5 out of 5 as well. The themes for some of these songs are interesting, where it brings up the topics of Kai and the captain, and Rosalind and Adam. So I was kind of paying attention to the whole record and listening to the theme about the record and what it was talking about. But there are some critiques with this record that we will be getting into for the second half of this album review. So 5 out of 5 for Ghost in the Machine. Interstellar, featuring Lucy Rose. Lucy Rose, pretty strong track too. I really like this song. Some nice melody, nice rapping from Logic in this track. Lucy Rose's singing is pretty dope, so I dig this one. 5 out of 5 for sure. In retrospect, I like this song, but when he brings up the N-word in this, it's like, you can't say that. You're white as hell. And I know Logic is basically a white guy, and he can't say that word. I know he's saying it with the A at the end of it, but no, you don't say that word. And I'm not trying to bring up that word just to prove that I'm what people say I am, racist, but I'm not racist. That is a false accusation if they say that. I'm just trying to make a statement on what I'm saying in this review, and that he can't say that word. It's pretty shitty on his part if he says it, and we'll get your ass kicked. For sure. 4.75 out of 5 for this song. For Forever. Had a good beat to it, but he kept saying it so many times in this song, the N-word. And I'm like, no, you don't say that still. You're just white as hell. You can't say that. You can say the C word, which is cracker. Which, you can say that. But you can't say anything else other than that. But other than that, 4.75 out of 5. Love Me is, I don't know. This one was pretty strong, but this one I had a few critiques with, so 4.5 out of 5 for this one. It's a little weaker of a track than the last two songs, but other than that, there were some critiques with this track. Planet Death, the skit, was interesting, and I was really intrigued with this song, with the skit about it. But overall, execution-wise, there are some good moments and, well, pretty much strong moments through the skit, where it talks about the theme of the album again, where Kai and the captain are venturing through space still, but playing a video game. And I thought that's what was really happening. And, like, they found life outside of Earth or whatever, and they went to a planet called Planet Death. And I thought that's where they went to, but in reality, they were just playing a video game. And it was like, oh, so that did not happen. They did not die. So, okay. But other than that, 5 out of 5. Teleport is a good song in its own way. I had a few critiques with this track, but I didn't necessarily hate it for what I listened to. So 4.5 out of 5. Chess Skit is where they start playing chess in this one. And it's alright, I guess, but there's some critiques as you progress through the final act of final 5 songs of the record that make the record kind of stand out, and not in a great way, but an alright way. So, Chess Skit was where they're just playing chess, the captain and Kai, and basically, yeah, that's what happens. Antidote is the 16th track on the record with Zelu Purs, Zelu Purs, or whatever I'm trying to pronounce it as. I have a hard time pronouncing some words some of the time, so please forgive me on that. Other than that, this track is above average. Not a great song in any way, but okay, I guess. So 4.25 out of 5. Zelu Purs, or Zelu Purs' rapping was kind of cringy in this, and just Logic doing some rapping, I wasn't feeling for it for this one. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a strong track. I really enjoyed the melody for this track. It was 5.5 minutes, but it got the job done for what it was going for. So a strong 5 out of 5. Peace, Love, and Positivity, pretty above average track at least. I was gonna say pretty good song, but I had a few critiques as I was going through the track, and he kept saying the N-word. And I'm like, dude, you need to kind of stop that. Because that's kind of, he kind of realizes that, oh, I can't say this word. And it's like, no shit. Like, you really can't. It just doesn't look good on your part. So, we'll get you a lot of backlash, for sure. I mean, keep in mind, Logic is a good rapper, but there are times with certain songs that it does not work. With some of the execution points and some lyrics that he spits bars on, doesn't execute well for some songs. So Peace, Love, and Positivity is getting a 4.25 out of 5. City in the Stars featuring Robert Ivory. It's a pretty good song in its own way. It's close to the closing track as we wrap up this album, basically. So a strong 4.75 out of 5. I dig this track. Thank You for Believing in Me, the closing track for the album, is actually a pretty strong closing track in its own way. I mean, not everything was great, and it finally comes to the outro of the song where Mission Control, which is the space cadets and space pilots, are touching down on Earth again. Kai and the captain and Adam and Rosalind were part of the team too. So basically, they finally come back to Earth, and then the last seconds of the song is "See You on the Other Side," Space Cowboy or whatever. So it's really nice way to end the record, but I had a few critiques with it, so a strong 4.75 out of 5 is what I think it deserves. Overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Logic Ultra 85, his new record, was good, but I had a few critiques with this. Like, for instance, you have some of the words he says, like the N word, that kind of threw me off, and not in a good way. It made me bring the rating down for this record during the second half of this album. The second half was this slum. This pretty much it slumped a bit, like dragged down the rating, and it just collapsed on its own, not in a good way. So I think if I were to give this record its deserved score, it's going to get a strong 8 out of 10. It's a good album, but there are critiques that I have with this record that I think could have been utilized a lot better if he didn't say the N-word. Because that would have probably made me like the songs even better if that word wasn't used. But other than that, still the album's good, but still there's some mixing issues with certain songs and production too, but it's just that word kind of was overutilized in this record, and I didn't like that. So, with that being said, 8 out of 10 for Logic's new record, Ultra 85. Thank you for watching this album review tonight.